Good evening, everyone. It's the day after the election and two videos in a row. So this is, I guess we're making history twice here. And as you all know by now, Trump was elected president again yesterday, and which I think is a good thing. But I want to take a little bit different perspective on this because I have to say something first. And I admit that I was wrong because I really didn't think it was going to happen. I said for a long time, I just, with all the shenanigans that have gone on over the last few years in these elections, I really believed that we would never see another Republican president. So I'm going to admit that I was wrong on this one. I called it the last time. I said he wasn't going to win the last election, and it happened. But I really didn't think it was going to happen this time. So if anything, this has restored my faith a little bit in not only our election system, but it's actually restored my faith in some of the in our fellow citizens that actually voted. And I don't want this to be a rah-rah video, but I really do think there's I think this election spoke loudly to a lot of the feelings of many Americans, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that crossed over the aisle that voted because there's so many issues that are going on that I don't really think are political issues, but they become political issues. And I think a lot of people are starting to see them through the nonsense. And I think that those average Americans, probably like most of us, I mean, I don't consider I guess I'm considered myself hard conservative, but I still try to use common sense and things. And, I've had my problems with Trump for since his first term. I can't say I was 100% a fan, but I did like a lot of his policies, and I thought there was a lot of good things that happened during his time. So, in all fairness, I will say that I am happy that he got reelected. I hope, but now I hope it works out well. I hope things can be turned around because I think we really definitely need it now. But I don't think we should rest on our laurels just because he got elected. Because he's still only one man. And there's a lot of, behind the scenes things. If you get into, politics and whatever, you'll understand what I'm saying. But we've got to hold our representatives, our local people, our senators, our representatives. We've also got to hold them accountable. Because now we once again gave the Republicans control of, and a decent control, across the board. And this happened in Trump's first term, this was the case, and they got nothing done, which is pretty typical because, I'll say it, we have weak Republicans in Congress and, Senate and House Representatives. We have those status quo that just, don't want to rock the apple cart. And a lot of it's because they're as corrupt as the other side. Let's call it the way it is. And they don't want that disrupted. They want to keep on, benefiting off the backs of Americans, even at our peril. So we've really got to continue to keep our representatives on their toes. And that means if in the next election, that means voting some of them out, whatever side they are, then so be it. But we've got to restore some kind of order and morality. And, whether Trump can do that, I guess that remains to be seen. But I think we should be hopeful. I really do. I think this does give us some hope that I think Americans are kind of getting tired of this woke nonsense and this, if you don't agree with me, you're a racist, you're a fascist, you're whatever, homophobic, I think people have had enough of that. I think the average American has had enough of that. Especially if you're none of those things, but you're continually getting called that, eventually that's going to wear down. And even so much as, what is a week or so ago, and Biden, was talking about, if you vote for Donald, MAGA voters are garbage and all this kind of thing. We're not always going to see eye to eye on everything. I think we have to be respectful of other people's opinions and their beliefs. Even sometimes they're going to be blatantly wrong just as much as we can be. But I think we've this maybe has hopefully sent a message that, Americans are kind of tired of this nonsense. I mean, we're tired of all the, I mean, just the decline in morality in our country has been just, it's getting worse. And I think a lot of people are starting to recognize that. And, I think the values of these parties are getting so far away from, a lot of people, especially like Christian values and things like that. And I think a lot of people are starting to wake up to that. And here in Pennsylvania, from what I'm reading, and I had heard rumblings about this because I don't live in an Amish community, but I live near Amish communities. They're very close to where we're at, and that the Amish were going to come out in record numbers. And from what I'm understanding, that happened, and which goes back, I think, a lot to a case that I actually talked about probably a year or so ago in one of my videos. I don't know if you if you remember that, but it was about Amos Miller, who was an organic farmer in Lancaster County in Pennsylvania. And the feds have been on him and trying to shut him down. And I really believe, I'm sure that got back, into the communities. And, I'm sure that swayed a lot of them to go vote because they don't want their way of life destroyed no more than the average American just like us does. The people like us are just walking the streets. I mean, the Amish they live in their own communities, they have their own beliefs and things like that. But, in some respects, I'm sure they just want to be left alone. And that whole case kind of was a good example of government overreach, government, telling you what to do, what you can eat, what you can buy. And I think that kind of probably became a referendum for them to go out and vote. So, good on them. I mean, for getting involved in speaking up. Hopefully that sends some kind of a message. But I think that overall, I think the way we were headed, the direction this country was headed, I think a lot of people are just tired of it. So I really hope this was a wake-up call for, for many of those in power, or elected officials that have been just riding the wave here and, getting rich off of our backs, all the while just basically destroying the country and, leaving it in its wake. So, let's be hopeful. Let's be hopeful that it's going to be, I don't know if we can drastically change things in 4 years, but maybe we can, affect a movement that keeps, that maybe brings some sense back and brings some morality back to the country. So, I'll go back to it again. Let's just be hopeful because we don't know what's coming. We really don't know. But that doesn't mean we should sit back and just enjoy it for too long. Still keep your things in order. If you're just getting into being prepared, keep it up. Because that doesn't, just because the politics change, there's still going to be things in this world that are affected and out of your control. So let's not, let's not rest too easy because it's, Trump doesn't take power for another, roughly 2.5 months now, maybe a little over 2 months now, but, roughly. But, so, I mean, a lot can happen in that short period of time. And we've seen all the craziness just went on over the summer, with the assassination attempts and things like that. So, I want us to be hopeful, but don't get too comfortable. If you're trying to get, like I said, if you're trying to be prepared, do that. Keep on doing it. I mean, you're still going to be ahead of the game a little bit. And, because 4 years is going to come quick. I mean, it just seems to me like the election was just yesterday, in 2020. So, 4 years will go really quick. And before you know it, we'll be going through all this nonsense again. One thing I am happy about is that I hope I'm not getting any more commercials and text messages. And, I think this is the worst I've ever seen it. I've never got so much crap about the election as I have seen. I mean, every day my mailbox had, 8, 10, 12 ads for, every candidate under the sun. I mean, some of them I didn't even know they were running. So, it's, which is my fault. I'm usually pretty good about keeping up on that. But I mean, some of the stuff, it just got so bad. I might get half a dozen Trump ads in one day and half a dozen Kamala ads in one day. So I sure will be glad my mailbox isn't full of that crap anymore. And hopefully the commercials kind of die down and we can get back to some normalcy. So anyway, but like I said, I wanted to say, I will admit I was wrong. I didn't think this was going to happen. I really thought there was going to be some major event that halted the election, whether it was, us getting involved in a war. I thought they would pull some kind of shenanigans as they've been doing, because there was a lot of stuff coming up to this. I mean, if you saw the exploding ballot box out in, I forget what state that was in, a lot of some software issues. But I will admit, I thought this election went a lot smoother than I really thought it was going to. I really thought this was going to be complete chaos. But I guess the win was just so big. I mean, there was so much, of a gap. It's kind of really hard to dispute this at this point. I mean, which I'm really shocked by. I mean, but ironically, it seems as last count I heard. Now I haven't been keeping up with it, probably from about dinner time on, so that may have changed as far as that. But it seems like they got less votes in this election in 2020, which is pretty ironic. But as I thought this one would be maybe record turnout, but it really hasn't. But the fact that he won the popular vote and the electoral college vote really says something about maybe the tide is shifting a little bit. So good on you if you went out and voted. Keep on top of things, and like I said, don't rest. There's still a lot of work to do, and in this country, and to get us back on track and get this get it working again. For the average person that's out there. I mean, there's still a ton of problems, and I don't know how much is going to be addressed in 4 years, but let's hope it does get a little bit better. I did get a kick out of watching the. I was actually watching just before I came down to do this video. I was watching a video, and there's three young. I think they're called the Cartier family, I believe it is, and they're three young black men that they're obviously conservative. I would assume I've saw them before, but I don't know their whole story. But they were very common sense, and I actually really enjoy their videos. I believe this is probably the third one I've seen. I'm gonna really kind of dive in and watch some more of their stuff. They really had I like their take on things a little bit, and they were kind of commenting on it, but they were showing clips from The View and how this proves just how racist we are. And it was the same old talking points. You'd think that they would be over this by now, but they're not. And the irony is, it goes back once again, we need to change, and no, we need to remember that our neighbors, just because they voted different, or they're still good people and all this. And I'm thinking to myself, I never thought any different than before. This is what I thought before. It wasn't. I'm not the one running around calling people Nazis and fascists. But so the irony was just almost laughable, really. So I'm sure there's a lot of the liberal news outlets that their heads are exploding today. But hey, you know what? They brought this on themselves too, because people are getting to the point where we don't really trust them either. So. But I don't want to keep you here all night. I appreciate if you're stopping back again. And if you please comment. I mean, if there's anything you'd like to say, good or bad, about the election, if your thoughts, please share them with us, because I love to hear other people's perspective of things. And I'm not afraid to change my thinking if somebody has a good argument about it. So definitely, I appreciate you stopping back. As I say all the time, if you like this channel, give me a like and a subscribe, and tell your friends, and hopefully start hitting some more of the preparedness stuff again. Camping season's kind of over, but I do have a little trip coming up, but that's in a few weeks. So I'm going to try to document some of that. It's going to be really a lot different than what the outdoor stuff I've been doing, as far as most of our videos were the glamping videos, as I call them. This is going to be a little bit of a different take. So watch for that in a few weeks, and we'll pick up that back in come spring. But hopefully we can talk about some different things over the winter here, and I'm going to try to do some more videos. I really need to get back into it. There's a lot of things I kind of kept low profile during the election a little bit, because I thought there was enough. But there's some things, even some gear things. I've got some things happening down here in the shop I'd like to share with some of you guys. So anyway, have a good night. Rest easy, I guess. And if you're a gun owner, you're probably safe for another 4 years. You might have some worry taken off of you. So anyway, I will see you guys on the next one. God bless, and take care of yourselves.